Women's groups all across the country promise they will sue over the Trump administration's new rules on birth control. So starting today, employers have more leverage to not cover birth control costs on religious or moral grounds. And
Denver 7's Molly Hendrickson is following the developments. And Molly, this could impact millions of people who receive birth control without a copay.
Yeah, according to the Kaiser Family Foundation, when contraception became a covered preventative benefit under Obamacare, women who pay their own money for birth control dropped from 21% to just 4%. The ACLU has already filed a lawsuit saying the administration is forcing women to pay for their boss's religious beliefs.
I'm a little angry and also just a little bit nervous.
Like millions of other women, Jillian Coffey is stuck in a game of wait and see.
I am not totally sure how much my birth control is going to cost when I go to pick it up.
After the Trump administration announced new rules giving employers more leeway to not cover birth control on religious or moral grounds.
It's 2017. I don't know why a bunch of men in Washington, D.C. are talking about my birth control.
The move is a huge win for religious groups like Little Sisters of the Poor. They sued over the Obama-era birth control mandate. Today, the group saying, quote, relief in the court would be easy now that the government admits it broke the law.
I think this is completely out of touch with Coloradans.
Sarah Taylor Nanista of Planned Parenthood of the Rockies calls the new rules a major step backward. While the Health and Human Services Department estimates about 120,000 women will be affected nationwide, Nanista says it takes aim at the more than 62 million women across the country who rely on birth control for a variety of reasons.
That's not limited to family planning, which is a critically important healthcare component, but is also about medical conditions like endometriosis. There are a number of different medical conditions that birth control helps alleviate the symptoms for.
For Coffey,
I don't have extra money to be spending on something that is necessary for me to live my daily life.
It's personal. She relies on her birth control to control her migraines and says Washington has no place in her health care.
I really think that if men were taking birth control, we wouldn't be losing access to it.
Now, it's still unclear how religious-affiliated universities and hospitals will respond to these changes. Today, the Health and Human Services press secretary saying, quote, no American should be forced to violate his or her own conscience in order to abide by the laws and regulations governing our healthcare system. Ann?
Thank you, Molly. Another big memo from the Justice Department today says it will no longer side with transgender people in cases of sex discrimination. This new memo says Title VIII of the Civil Rights Act that prohibits discrimination based on sex does not include transgender people. Now, the LGBTQ community here calls this move a license to discriminate.
We are still waiting to find out just what President Trump meant when he mentioned the calm before the storm during a photo op with military leaders.
You guys know what this represents? Well, I don't know, maybe it's the calm before the storm.
Mr. President, what did you mean by calm before the storm yesterday? What did you mean by that?
Thank you very much. You'll find out.
Now, the comments come on the heels of that bombshell that President Trump will decertify the Iran nuclear deal and, of course, amid tensions with North Korea.
Today, the lieutenant governor of Colorado called for a ban of so-called bump stocks and some other gun modification devices. These devices are getting a lot of attention in the wake of the Las Vegas shooting, and they aren't the only thing found in the hotel room of the shooter. Here's ABC's Marcy Gonzalez.
Officials tell ABC News investigators trying to figure out whether the Las Vegas mass murderer acted alone now believe the woman he was seen with in the days before the attack was a prostitute. But they believe someone may have helped him based on the elaborate planning, the amount of guns he had in that hotel room, and officials say because some of the ammo was bought under someone else's name.
There's people that know this individual. There's people that could help us understand this individual.
With reports Paddock may have considered other targets, searching for hotel rooms near Boston's Fenway Park and booking rooms across the street from the Lollapalooza Festival in Chicago. Some cities are increasing security for big events, including in Chicago for this weekend's marathon.
There's been a double, triple checking of everything.
Back in Nevada, a somber reminder of the overwhelming loss. Under the Welcome to Las Vegas sign, 58 white crosses, one for each life taken.
I feel that Las Vegas is having one of its darkest days in American history, but I'm trying to shed a light on that by bringing hope.
One of those victims, Charleston Hartfield. Thousands gathering last night to honor the Army veteran, police officer, and father of three.
If there was a checklist to be an American, Charlie hit every single box, and then he made up some boxes.
And donations to help all of the victims' families and the survivors keep pouring in, with more than $9.5 million raised so far. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Las Vegas.
New at 5, Denver 7 just received court documents that show Westminster police officer Curtis Argenbright is charged with sex assault and false imprisonment. According to a court affidavit, a woman claims Argenbright assaulted her in the back of his police car in late August while he was taking her home from the hospital. Argenbright has been suspended without pay and has pleaded not guilty. Well, tonight we're learning the sentencing for a former Littleton school principal who pleaded guilty to sexually assault on a child.
Denver 7's Lance Hernandez was in Arapahoe County Court where Michael Camilio was sentenced to a surprisingly short 4 years.
That's because the assaults occurred 20 years ago, and sentencing laws were much different back then. The sentencing range was just 2 to 8 years. Michael Camilio, a former principal at Mark Hopkins Elementary School, science teacher at Newton Middle School, and teacher at Powell Middle School, apparently groomed one of his students back in the mid to late 90s. It took decades for the victim to summon the strength to come forward. You may wonder how prosecutors got the goods on the guy 20 years later. They recorded a conversation between the victim and suspect. I asked if Camilio denied the assault.
I think initially there's always that inclination to want to deny, but when you have someone's words spoken, captured on recorded audio tape, it's very difficult to walk away from that.
Camilio apologized for his actions in court, but the judge said what he did had a lifelong impact on the victim. On Denver 7 at 6, I'll tell you what the victim herself said in court. Lance Hernandez, Denver 7.
Now take a moment and look at this video. This woman is caught in the act taking off with a purse that doesn't belong to her. She's inside Mango House on Galena Street in Aurora. You saw her there looking around. Then she just reaches over and picks up that white purse and walks out with it. Mango House provides services to former refugees. If you know anything, call police. And police in Louisville need your help to track down the person who assaulted a security guard. This happened back in September, but police just released a sketch of who they're looking for. They say when the guard asked the person to leave the private property, they got into a fight, and that person hit the guard with his car. Thankfully, the guard was not seriously hurt.
The land where the old CSU football stadium stands is being sold to developers, but first, it's got to come down. The university has approved demolition of Hughes Stadium. The cost to do that will be recouped by the sale of the property.
Tesla CEO Elon Musk thinks his company can help restore power to Puerto Rico. It started as a question on Twitter.
Musk wrote that they've used battery systems to bring electrical power to smaller islands and that the technology is scalable. It got the response from the governor of Puerto Rico. He tweeted, quote, "Let's talk."
Hey, and we hope it works, right? Tesla makes something called the PowerPack storage battery. Musk won a contract from South Australia to install a facility using wind energy that could power 30,000 homes.
Wow. Well, Denver is working to make the streets safer for all of us. In fact, the city just announced a program called Vision Zero. The goal? Eliminate traffic deaths by making changes around the city. Denver 7's Mike Eliopoulos tells us where we can see those changes first.
We're right off of Federal Boulevard. This is one corridor that will see improvements first to make it more safe for pedestrians, and certainly one of the areas that needs the most attention. Just this year, 10 auto pedestrian accidents happened right here on this road. In addition to Federal Boulevard, we'll also see improvements on Colfax Avenue and Colorado Boulevard. The Vision Zero plan was announced earlier this morning. This all started back in 2015. The plan was put together after the city reviewed crash data and input from the public. They looked at streets, they looked at intersections, and concluded where the focus needs to be. So over the next 5 years, they will address 5 primary areas. The city, along with CDOT, want to make improvements on the pedestrian signals here. They want to add more signage. The goal is to eliminate traffic deaths by 2030.
Vision Zero is maybe one of those wildly audacious goals, but at the same time, it is the right goal. Vision 10 is not okay. 10 of us are not expendable. And so we will stick with Vision Zero as being our goal, and we'll do everything we can to hit it by 2030. But if we don't get there, we'll keep going.
Right now, $1.7 million is set aside to put towards Vision Zero for 2018. Reporting in Denver, Mike Eliopoulos, Denver 7.
Still to come, a comment to a reporter could wind up costing Cam Newton more than he bargained for. And tonight, the NFL quarterback is doing some major damage control.
Ugly and numerous allegations against Hollywood heavyweight Harvey Weinstein. And tonight, he's been suspended.
But first, check out the fall colors while you still can. We will tell you the best spots to check out. As the days shorten and the nights get longer, animals are migrating. The aspens in the Rockies are putting on quite a show. Yeah, this is why our state is called Colorful Colorado, but you're running out of time. As Denver 7's Russell Haythorne shows us, the forecast could provide a last hurrah for fall's colorful spectacle.
Yeah, the colors are really popping up here right now, especially in southern Colorado. And with the forecast calling for sunny skies and really mild temperatures this weekend, it could be your last best chance to do some leaf peeping, because come Monday, when the snow starts to fly, all that color could be gone in an instant. These are some viewer photos showcasing the kaleidoscope of color. Summer is definitely gone, but winter has held off just long enough.
Enjoying the fall colors and making the most of the weather before it gets too snowy up here.
So fill up the gas tank and the coffee mug and go for a drive, leaf peeping aficionados. It's gonna be a good one. In Clear Creek County, Russell Haythorne, Denver 7.
Okay. Do what he says, because tomorrow is going to be an outstanding day, one of the nicest days of the year. Right now, we have some severe weather as summer kind of hangs on over eastern Colorado. Burlington to Lamar until 10 o'clock, severe thunderstorm watch in effect. No warnings on these cells, but this line from around the Fort Morgan area down just to the west of Last Chance, west of Lyman, down toward Calhoun, producing gusts of 50 miles an hour as the outflow from these storms blows through. Denver, it looks like we're in the clear. These are all moving off to the east, but towns on the eastern plains will still have a couple of hours of rough weather. Snow showers will be ending in the mountains, and the next storm is way off to the north and west of us, but it's a strong cold front arriving here Sunday evening. So your weather headlines: storms early on the plains this evening, a beautiful warm weekend coming up. The big change arrives by Monday morning. As a matter of fact, this is the Monday snowfall forecast across the state, and we are looking at perhaps 6 to 12 inches of snow over parts of Jefferson County, down toward the Palmer Divide, up to a foot of snow, Rocky Mountain National Park, Estes Park, 1 to 3 on the plains, 3 to 6. It'll pack down because it's going to be so warm on the ground, but we're going to have enough snow that we have these concerns for Monday. Rain changes to snow late Sunday night. Tree damage is a pretty good possibility Monday afternoon, especially elevations above 6,000 feet. That could cause some power outages, and we'll have sub-freezing temperatures Tuesday morning. It'll look a bit like this. This is a current shot from our camera up at Winter Park. Right now in Denver, it's very different. It's 58 degrees. It's very windy. Humidity is dropping a little bit, 27%. Top temp was 63. The normal is at 69 degrees. We'll have a breezy evening here, but the storms moving off to the east of us, they're pretty much gone by 9 o'clock out of the state. Clear skies come up overnight, and tomorrow morning dawns with beautiful sunshine and low temperatures dropping into the low 40s, upper 30s on the plains, 20s expected in the mountains. So your forecast looks pretty chilly for tomorrow morning in the high country, but then a glorious day as we'll bounce back nicely into the 60s and 70s across most of eastern Colorado, 50s and 60s in the mountains. Just a perfect day across the entire state tomorrow. Sunday will be just about as nice, and then things start to shift. 43, few storms, eastern plains early, clearing cool down to 43. Winds will be lighter later tonight, and tomorrow just a great day. Sunny skies, warm, 77 degrees, gentle southwesterly breezes. Looking ahead, Sunday looks just as good, and then wow, things change. Monday, snow and colder, 38 the high temperature, and dropping 35 in the morning on Monday, but the real drop is Tuesday down to 25 degrees, followed by 50, and then right back up into the 60s to around 70 degrees next week. But Monday, certainly our first alert weather day. Be ready, it's coming.
Thank you, Mike. Managing your money tonight. The end of the year auto buying season is starting to rev up. Dealerships are dropping prices on 17 model years, making room for the 18 model years. They're also cutting prices on used vehicles, which are becoming more and more popular these days.
Cars today are a level of quality that almost up to 100,000 miles, as long as that maintenance has been maintained, that car can continue to run very well.
Dealerships sold 41 million used cars last year. That's an all-time record.
And bring your car on over to the first ever Denver 7 Car Care Fair. It's happening at Southlands in Aurora tomorrow. We're offering a discount on a 20-point car inspection where technicians will check everything from your wiper blades to your power steering fluid. It'll cost you just $15, and we have a lot more information for you on the denverchannel.com/car care fair.